Anyway, Gavin, are you ready to move on to the Russell Brand story?
Speaking of the UK,
Yeah.
Yeah.
We've been following this for a long time, like I said. So this wasn't huge news to me when I woke up this morning, in the sense that I was surprised that he'd been charged. I guess, if anything surprised me, it was the fact that they finally got around to bringing criminal charges. In 2023, there was this investigation from the Times London, which I think really reveals a lot of what we're going to see him charged with today, which was that 4 women, including one who was just 16, make allegations after an investigation by the Sunday Times, the Times, and Channel 4 dispatches. So that was kind of where this all began. That took 2.5 more years of investigation, but we finally gotten to the point where Brand is to appear in Westminster Magistrate Court on May the 2nd. He has been working and living in the U.S. full-time as of late, saying recently on his Rumble platform, "I don't live in the United Kingdom anymore because I personally have experienced how the media, government, and judiciary, if you suddenly become an inconvenience, will find ways to attack you and shut you down." Brand could now be detained by U.S. police under an international arrest warrant, and the Home Office would have to submit a formal extradition request to Washington on behalf of the CPS to seek his
you want to
return to
zoom in a little
Britain.
bit, by the way?
Oh, yeah, sorry, you guys can't see that as much. Let's see, is that better for you guys?
Yeah, that's better.
Let's see. Either way, responding on X, Brand said he was never a rapist. I've never engaged in any non-consensual activity, and I pray you can see that by looking in my eyes. We'll play his response later. But Gavin, are you expecting that this heats up and turns into a real, legal battle between Brand, in which he could find himself put behind bars ultimately?
Yeah, scroll down and wait, go back to where you just were on screen. Yeah, Brand can now be detained by U.S. police under an international arrest warrant, and the Home Office would have to submit formal extradition request to Washington on behalf of the CPS to seek his return to Britain to stand trial. We have reached out to the Home Office for comment. So that's pretty crazy. Obviously, all of a sudden it starts to make a lot of sense why Russell Brand has done what Russell Brand has done over the last 4 or so years, 3 or 4 years, whatever. Specifically with getting the approval of and getting, in bed with RFK Jr., Donald Trump himself. He's literally been recording his podcast, guys, from Mar-a-Lago. I'm not kidding. He actually recorded live from Mar-a-Lago. This is someone who is deep in Trump's inner circle, and it seems like he put himself there for a reason. He wants protection. So it's going to be really fascinating, honestly, to see if he gets that protection or if he gets extradited. But if this guy's actually as close with Donald Trump and the MAGA inner circle as he makes it seem like, I don't think they're going to extradite this motherfucker. I don't think Trump's going to extradite one of his biggest cheerleaders and personal friends at the behest of the UK so they can go, defend himself on trial against all these women that he raped when Trump and RFK. I mean, they're all rapists. This is like a big boys club for rapists.
Yeah, that's such a scary point, but I think you're honestly probably correct. I, want to believe that he's cooked, and I hope that he's completely fucked, and I hope that he does have to deal with at least some sort of a legal headache in America, but I would say there's at least a 65% chance that Donald Trump just, makes this problem go away for him. He's like, you know what? Fuck you. We don't care about England. England should join America. America should, own England. We don't take orders from England. We don't have a king. I'm the king. All of this kind of stupid bullshit. And it makes sense why he has been nuzzling up so closely to Donald Trump. We've kind of been following that for a long time. In fact, there was this Vogue piece from a while back that I'll throw up. We don't have to spend too much time reading it, but it's on Russell Brand's troubling rebrand. And it talks about how he's become a born-again Christian, how he's speaking at all of these retreats that are for really, really evangelical people and Gavin, I believe you began speculating a while back that he was potentially going to go down the path of speaking at mega churches, potentially leading his own congregation with his own blend of spirituality and, his rehab talking points from his recovery journey and, stones and rocks and whatever else as a way of kind of continuing to be the center of attention, to kind of continuing to be a cult leader. But I don't know. This is all just really insane. And I thought it might be worthwhile to just go back and read some of these original allegations that these women put forward to remind everybody how harrowing and how brazen the crimes that Russell Brand committed were, and so that you guys are really aware of the situation when you watch other content creators, watch other politicians, watch other powerful people continue to run cover for this guy or associate with this guy. And I want to remind everyone, this is stuff we've known about for 2 whole years at this point.
Yeah. I also want to get your opinion on this, Zach, because we talked about it briefly, but not on air. And I still don't really know if this is like at all legit or if he was just joking. But I do think this offers a bit of an insight into Russell Brand's mental state right now, potentially because of all of this stuff kind of, coming to head. He says, "It's official. I am ending my Rumble show. Stay free to spit bars full time." This is like when, was it when Joaquin Phoenix pretended to quit so he could become a hip hop artist or whatever? Remember that? Either way, should my hip hop tag be Hustle Brand? Any better suggestions? Bring them on, bitches. And let's take a look at this. Again, I actually have no idea if he's parting ways with Rumble, but let's take a look at this and you can review his bars, Zach.
Soul Spirit on locals, poor and a heroin addicted mother, real struggle. Yeah, that's what I like. His mum, she was banging down the brown. She was smacked right up. She was chasing the dragon all over town. Every single vein in her body is collapsing. That poor bitch couldn't stop relapsing. You gotta respect somebody that's come through hell. That's somebody who's got a story to tell. He called it his hillbilly elegy. And that's the kind of fit story that I want to see, rather than all them people getting pumped out by the Ivy League. Although he made his way there eventually. But that's why I can trust JD. And you can't have a beard too groomed for me. I'm going to take this one down a little. Do you think it's aging me? I don't know. Does it matter anymore? Should we just surrender to atrophy and entropy? I don't know. Tell me.
So you guys rapping about JD Vance's like heroin addicted mother or something for some reason?
Okay, his bars about banging down the brown, I was like, that's not so bad, but most of it gave like a remember Tom Green? Guys, people who are older, you'll probably remember this. I don't actually remember this. I just know that it was a thing in the early 2000s. Tom Green, the comedian, had a rap group in Canada that was so bad, but that was kind of the point. Like, it was just like really bad over the top hip hop music. That's what that reminds me of.
Interesting. Yeah, I'm not familiar with that, but either way, can anyone in chat confirm, is he actually parting ways with Rumble? I guess this is just a joke, though. Is that how you took it? Because it's just a weird joke to make. Official, I am ending my Rumble show. But I guess it would just be to spit bars. Oh, shit, Zach. He responded. Have we had a chance to take this in yet?
I saved that for the show, so we can go ahead and get to that now if you want to.
I didn't know if he literally just uploaded it or what.
Oh, no, it came out this morning.
Okay.
But yeah, we can hear from the horse's mouth.
Yeah, innocent until proven guilty. Let's hear this man's explanations. Maybe he'll blow my mind. Oh, actually, oh, shit. It all makes sense now. Fuck. I'm so sorry, Russell. I can't believe I just smeared you. Fuck. Let's hope that that's what we hear, guys.
No, don't count on it.
Hello. Firstly, thank you for these incredible and overwhelming messages of support. We're very fortunate in a way to live in a time where there's so little trust in the British government. We're very fortunate, I suppose, that this is happening at a time where we know that the law has become a kind of weapon to be used against people, institutions, and sometimes entire nations that will not accept and tolerate levels of corruption that are unprecedented. I'm speaking particularly to those of you that are watching this in the UK. How do you feel about your legal system right now? How do you feel about some of the high-profile cases that are not being pursued and prosecuted? How do you feel that the Southport murders were handled? How do you feel about the government of Keir Starmer? Now, that's just sort of general context. Me, I've always told you guys,
Do you hate immigrants?
when I was young and single,
Well, then
before
what
I
do
had
you
my
think about
wife and
migrants?
family, were just out of shot over there, my beautiful children, I was a fool, man. I was a fool before I lived in the light of the Lord. I was a drug addict, a sex addict, and an imbecile.
They love
But what
going
I
to this
never
line.
was a rapist. I've never engaged in non-consensual activity. I pray that you can see that by looking in my eyes. I want to thank all of you for your
Looking in my eyes, and then he has the most dead fucking sociopathic expression I've ever seen on a man. Like, I would be way more emotional than this if I was responding to charges of this nature, whether I was innocent or guilty. You know what I'm saying? This guy looks like he's a fucking AI robot. He has no emotion whatsoever in those eyes that he just begged us to look deep within. Oh my God.
Yeah, he has rape eyes, bro. And I want to remind everybody just how severe, like, obviously, content warning if you don't want to hear about vile fucking sexual assault, in which case this man has been accused of. Obviously, we totally understand maybe click away for 5 minutes. But I think it's important to understand just how violent and severe the accusations are. And we've known about these for years. So think about all the people that you've seen associate with Russell Brand over the past few years. These accusations have been out in broad daylight. And here's the substantial evidence that we have so far. So this is an investigation that obviously we've said was led by the Sunday Times and Channel 4 over in England. Let's take a look here. I'm going to zoom in a little bit more just so it's easy for you guys to see. Right here. One woman alleges that Brand raped her against a wall in his Los Angeles home. She was treated at a rape crisis center on the same day. That is extremely damning. If you have a sexual assault happen and then immediately go to a rape crisis center where they will give you a rape kit, it says according to medical records. That means she was medically tested and went to a rape crisis center. In addition to that, text messages showed that in hours after leaving his house, she told Brand that she had been scared of him and had felt taken advantage of, adding, "When a girl says no, it means no." Brand replied saying he was very sorry. Why would you apologize if you didn't do that? Why, Russell, would you apologize if you hadn't done anything if you hadn't raped this woman? You're literally apologizing to her for raping her after she went to a rape crisis center. But there's more. A second woman alleges that Brand assaulted her when he was 31 and she was 16 years old and still at school, guys. She said he referred to her as the child during an emotionally abusive and controlling relationship that lasted for about 3 months, and that Brand once forced his penis down her throat, making her choke. She says she tried to push him off, and she said she had to punch him in the stomach to make him stop when she's 16 years old and he's 31. Okay, absolutely disgusting. A third woman claims that he sexually assaulted her while she worked with him in Los Angeles and that he threatened to take legal action if she told anyone else about her allegation. The fourth described being sexually assaulted by Brand and him being physically and emotionally abusive towards her. All said they felt ready to speak out only after being approached by reporters. Several said they felt compelled to do so given Brand's newfound prominence as an online wellness influencer with millions of followers on YouTube and other sites. So this has all been publicly available in broad daylight the entire time he's been associating with RFK, the entire time that he's been associating with everybody in that capacity, Jimmy Dore, all of those people, the Aaron Mattes of the world, they've all looked over this for the benefit of their own career. And now he's nuzzled up so deeply within the Donald Trump administration that he may have insulated himself from even the most brazen sex crimes.
Yeah. I mean, thank God he's living in the light of the Lord these days. That's pretty crazy stuff. Now, obviously, that whole religious pivot he did. In fact, that's what gives it away the most. Honestly, you want some proof that this guy's guilty. You don't need to present any more proof to the jury than that. This blatant, just obvious pandering to Christians, trying to quickly, hastily remake your fan base into a bunch of brain dead idiots that will literally believe anything. Yeah. I wonder why that would be convenient or necessary for you to do at this stage of your life. It's so fucking obvious. I can't believe how stupid some of these people are that actually fall for this guy's shtick. And it's like, it's one thing if he said, hey, I apologize for these misdeeds, and because of that, I'm going to spend the rest of my life, as a Christian man, as a monk or something. That would be one thing. I'd be like, okay,
cut off my phallus.
That too. But that'll be one thing. I'd be like, even terrible people still deserve, a chance at redemption. That I'm not saying that he has to be stoned to death, right? Like, yeah, for sure, bro. Go, shave your head and become a monk or a Buddhist or whatever, and just live on the low and try to repent and meditate and all. Fine. That's probably what you should do. But to come out here and try to immediately cast yourself as a spiritual leader, you just became a Christian, you just became religious, and now you're all of a sudden proclaiming yourself a leader of other Christians who have been Christian for like their entire lives and are now just listening to you because of your charisma and your funny, stupid ass accent. Like, that's what's going on. And I just can't believe that anyone would follow this guy. Maybe you could write out here, I could understand reading his book if he wrote a book about his spiritual journey and how Christianity helped him, come back from the brink of addiction or something like that. But again, to look at this scumbag and be like, this is a leader of this faith, this is a leader of this movement or what? Like, that's crazy to me.
Oh yeah, he obviously has narcissistic personality disorder. He's obviously addicted to fame. He needs the adulation. He's like intoxicated by people paying attention to him, right? He's like a little child. We talk about it all the time. What does it all come down to with these fucking crazy people that seem to rise to the top of our society and control it? They all crave attention. They're all just little fucking boys that couldn't grow up, that are still pissed off, and they need the world to be me, 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 me. I need to be served me, 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 me. I need pleasure all the time. Me, 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 me. Feed me dopamine. Okay, as Gavin and I point out, they never saw the VeggieTales Madam Blueberry. They didn't know that that's all empty and that you cannot reach altruism through, self-satisfaction, self-gratification, all of that shit. I want to read a little bit more about this, guys, because it would be easy for people to just dismiss this as anecdotal, right? Like, oh, 4 women came out, but we have serious evidence that has emerged over this. It's over the past 4 years that they've been researching this. Reporters have interviewed hundreds of sources who knew and worked with Brand, ex-girlfriends and their friends and family, comedians and other celebrities, people who worked with him on radio and TV, and senior staff at the BBC, Channel 4, and other media organizations. Along with these interviews, reporters have seen private emails and text messages, submitted freedom of information requests, viewed medical and therapist notes, scrutinized Brand's books and interviews, and watched and listened to hundreds of hours of his shows on the BBC, Channel 4, and YouTube to corroborate allegations. Brand, he's actually now 50. This is an article from 2 years ago when this information all kind of surfaced. He's, as Gavin pointed out, he's rebranded himself as a guru. And that's, again, it's like,
I feel like he's been a guru for a while, but now he's like a Christian
guru.
Yeah.
Fair enough. But even then, I didn't really even view him as a guru when he launched Under the Skin. He just seemed like a creative guy. Like, his whole pitch was,
he was kind of like a Marianne Williamson type.
No, he definitely was interested in some woo-woo shit, for sure. But he seemed to come at it from the point of like a perspective of like a genuine curiosity, not so much I want to be a leader, but I think that was just to get his foot in the door, and then he flipped the script, because you have to imagine every single thing this guy has done is calculated, right? We talked about this a few years ago when we first covered it. You guys can go ahead and see for yourselves. We did an entire video unpacking the allegations when they first came up. We can put a link to that in the description so you guys can get all of your receipts and whatnot from there. But I don't know, man. It's really depressing that he's been able to pull it all off, is I guess the last point I'll say.
Yeah. I mean, we'll have to see what happens. Maybe he actually will go to trial. I hope so. But he's certainly insulated himself around the most powerful people possible for a reason in America. It's going to be really interesting to keep track of this. And Zach, before we finish up the story, one other thing that I just wanted to point out is I noticed this last night when I was on Russell Brand's YouTube channel, or actually this morning. He's not doing as well as he once was, bro. Like, when we started this channel, Russell Brand would get like 500,000 views constantly on his videos, and he would always just release these videos with a really vague title, like, "Can you believe this is happening?" or like, "It's beginning," or just like, "What the fuck?" Like crazy, just vague titles. And they really would do well. Like, they would often get 400,000 views, 500,000
Oh
views.
Yeah, if we toggle it to most popular views, people can see.
Yeah, let's do that. Incredible amounts of views on these videos. Yeah, like 4 million, sometimes 3 million, 3.7 million. He would often get videos with millions and millions of views. But now, as you can see, it seems like for whatever reason, maybe it's because the election's over and now that Trump actually is the president, it's not as exciting. There's not like a competition element. It's not like, oh, the comeback, Trump's going to come back and destroy these Democrats. It's like, now that it happened, it's just like, okay, whatever. Not very exciting to pay attention to anymore. That's one theory. It's also possible, Zach, that much like Jimmy Dore, he's suffering from a lack of COVID-related interest, because he really rode that wave for a while too. But as you can see, I mean, like, these videos just are not doing that well. The top viewed one is like 333,000 views from 8 days ago, but most of them are more like in this ballpark, and this one even got 39,000 views. Zach, that's humiliating for Russell Brand.
Yeah,
when it comes
100%. I think it is the it's a combination of things. One, he bet huge on the vaccine, and that's no longer drawing clicks anymore. So all of the people who were constantly going to get his conspiracy theories about Anthony Fauci or Pfizer or Big Pharma or whatever, they're no longer getting. Yeah, exactly. So it's like, 176,000 when he used to be able to draw like 1.2 or 1.3 million on that. And you're totally correct to bring up Jimmy Dore, Gavin. Jimmy Dore's channel is live right now. It doesn't look like he's actually hosting it. It's Aaron Mate hosting it, and he's doing about what we're doing. He has about 2,000 live viewers on a channel with 1 million+ subscribers. Yet, not very many people who are actually interested in watching.
Because Aaron Mate has the charisma of a fucking dead fish.
Oh,
but yeah, pretty humiliating stuff. Russell Brand, he must be in a dark place, because not only does he have this legal shit closing in on him, he also has the subconscious, weight of the guilt if he has any actual humanity. Plus the less attention than ever. Who the fuck is talking about, Russell Brand's fucking contribution to the discourse? Nobody. If any, the only thing they're talking about is him being a rapist, and a sellout. So, and I guess he then has some like boomers, some brain like lead poison, brain dead boomer fans. Have fun with those people. I'm sure that's really awesome to go take photos with like some 90-year-old QAnon lady at some fucking shitty mega church that you're getting paid to speak at. Sounds like a really fun life. I'm so envious.
Well, I've already gotten all of this in and out of me, Kevin.
Look out the door if you hear an ambulance. The Vanguard will be there, sir. The Vanguard will be there, sir. The Vanguard will be there, sir. The Vanguard will be there. Be there. The Vanguard will be there.